Hello and welcome. Today, we're going on a field investigation, right into the heart of a crisis that's gripping an entire generation in Punjab.
It's harder to find soil here than drugs. Just let that sink in for a moment. That's what a drug peddler actually told an undercover journalist. It paints a pretty grim picture of the reality on the ground, doesn't it? So let's start right there, on the streets, where our investigation begins with a discovery that is, well, pretty shocking. Now, you might be picturing some shady deal in a dark alley at midnight, but nope, journalists were able to buy drugs on camera at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in broad daylight. That tells you just how open and, frankly, how brazen this whole trade has become. And the scale of this problem? It's staggering. This network isn't just feeding an existing demand, it's literally designed to grow. People on the ground are saying that for every single person who's an addict, there are now 2 people selling. Think about that for a second. So the big question is, how is any of this possible? Well, it's all fueled by this massive, parallel black money economy, a machine that has its tentacles in pretty much every level of the system. And this supply chain, it's incredibly sophisticated. It all starts with drugs getting smuggled from places like Afghanistan, often using drones. From there, they're consolidated in big hubs like Delhi. Then, the drug lords in Punjab get their hands on huge quantities and push them out through this vast network of street-level peddlers. The whole thing is designed to be almost impossible to trace.
You see official campaigns like this all the time, but this system just keeps going. Why? Well, it's the money. The amount of cash flowing through this network is so huge that it touches people at every single level, which makes it incredibly hard to take down.
All right, now let's get down to the human level. Because maybe the most sinister part of this whole operation is its playbook, a step-by-step method for creating new customers. Just look at this timeline. It is chilling. In just 2 weeks, a victim is turned into a peddler. They're forced to go out and trap other people, all to feed their own habit. The system is literally designed to be self-perpetuating. It's a trap. And the price tag for this trap? 3,500 rupees. That's about how much 1 single gram of heroin, or chitta as it's known locally, costs on the street. It makes this addiction financially devastating, almost instantly. That financial cost is crushing, for sure. But the physical toll? That's where things get so much worse. This is where a crime problem becomes a full-blown public health catastrophe.
You know, the sharing of needles to inject these synthetic drugs, it hasn't just caused a problem, it has created a catastrophic public health emergency.
I mean, just look at these numbers. This isn't some gradual increase. This is an explosion. According to official data, in just a few years, HIV cases tied to drug use have skyrocketed from around 500 to a jaw-dropping 90,000.
And the cause is just tragically simple. You have a group of, say, 5 friends. One contaminated syringe is passed around, and just like that, all 5 of them can be infected. Instantly. It's a terrifyingly efficient way for a disease to spread.
The physical breakdown of the body is it's horrifying. People literally run out of places to inject. When the veins in their arms and legs just give out, they're pushed to use the most life-threatening methods possible, which just sends the risk of a fatal overdose through the roof.
And the human cost, it just tears families apart. It forces them into these impossible situations. Journalists captured this story of a father who had to call the police on his own son. Not because he was angry, but because it was the last desperate thing he could think of to save his life.
These aren't just statistics, you know? They're shattered lives. A mother who lost all 6 of her sons. A star athlete who can't even play anymore. A young mom forced into the unthinkable. These are the deep, personal tragedies happening in homes everywhere.
So when a journalist brings all of this to light, what happens next? Well, the reaction is just as complicated and just as revealing as the problem itself.
The response was really a tale of 2 extremes. On one side, you had denial, accusations of misinformation, and then very real, very dangerous threats against the journalist and their sources. But on the other hand, the investigation did spark real action. A police officer was suspended, peddlers got arrested, and the anti-narcotics department even reached out to work together.
So here's the thing. The problem is right there, out in the open. The human cost is undeniable. We know how it works. And that leaves us with one final and really crucial question. When an entire generation is on the line, who is responsible for turning a blind eye?